Breaking news. As talked about, as about to be delivered by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Takes a few minutes to let people log on. This, I can't make up. This, you're all about to hear on CPAC. I want to give it to you all the truth as I live it right now. I am in the Hammer, Hamilton, Ontario. I have breaking news to share. Housing, astronomical prices all through the GTA, outlying areas bordering on the official GTA, like Hamilton, Ontario, and others in my vicinity, have been watching an influx of those wealthy Toronto house sales, people moving out to Hamilton and other major cities, these island tower communities. People are flooding them, house prices through the roof. Now, Trudeau's going to tell you all this as I live and breathe the Hammer each and every day, and I've got to share this to everybody. You've got to get it out there. Trudeau's about to tell you in his speech, he's going to say, folks, we're not going to let foreign buyers enter in the Hamilton market. It's going to be a reprieve, an average house. I'm not trying to be rude, Easterners. I hail from Edmonton, Alberta. To put in perspective, my house was a double attached garage. Massive property, jewel of that street with a massive property, dwarfing that which I see around me in Hamilton. Bricks aside, guess what? That house I held was brick too. Twice the size, way less years of weather and storm under its belt, 10 times the condition, 1/3 the price for a house, half the quality of what I left back home years ago, just a few years ago. Not that far in recent history, okay? Now, Hamilton, that equivalent house, easily $2 million. $2 million. Largely for 95% of the community of Hamilton residents in the Hammer. Unaffordable, unattainable, you'll never see it. It would require 4 to 5 families vesting together to get that property. Hence a lot of foreign buyers, the whole foreign worker program. Here is another release for the Hammer, not to be shared post-budget. There are massive jobs in Hamilton, sure, I've been all through them. Yesterday I went to National Steel Car, fully ticketed Red Seal journeyman welder, with all my ticket skills up to date, 20 plus years of experience. I have a blue seal in project management. I have my B pressure, which means all pressure piping systems in North America. I can do it all. That is my by-hand focus. I've generated money all over the place. Same job in Toronto for me, $52 an hour in commercial plumbing, natural gas, plumbing lines, all of that. Structural job, $40 an hour. Go into nuclear, take radiation all through the Great Lakes and all those plants. It's around 56 all the way down to $46 an hour for any group trades contract. Now, Hamilton, what happened at National Steel Car yesterday? I get called back within a day on my resume. Hey, come in, interview, let's go, come on. Come in there. We want guys who are ticketed, Red Seal journeymen, all these tickets, massive experience. To put in perspective, National Steel Car, sure, Hamilton, that's a big facility. I can tell you about Edmonton Exchange of the reactors. 4 city blocks of industry right there, one company. Makes National Steel Car look old and flimsy, to be honest. Not knocking Hamilton, I'm not knocking the Hammer. None of that matters. It's about trade skills, right? I can pick up large steels. I can read blueprints. I can do all that. I've been trained to do that. I went to college to specialize in that. It's a specified trade. Well, United Steel Car, no problem. They want me. They're like, yeah, we have 200 positions to fill. The starting rate for a journeyman fully ticketed welder with 20 years experience, $19 an hour. In Hamilton, where your average house goes for $828,000. Astronomical cost of living comparatively to the rest of Canada, with now officially the lowest trade wages. Do you know that this is NDP foundational party location? You'll look, Hamilton is largely NDP. What have I learned walking into NDP land? It is absolutely that of communist. $3.45 April 1st separates a journeyman, college graduated, fully ticketed, meaning you vested 5 years in your life to get that and those skill sets, 2 years of college to get a blue seal on top, is rated out at 19. If I work really hard, he says, I could get as high as $23 an hour. Lined up were all the new Ukrainians brought down. There was a whole lineup of people outside HR. I mean, I had my appointment. There were Jamaican folks in there with concerns, angry at their most recent wage deductions. Folks, this is Jagmeet Singh, Justin Trudeau's new Canada, which looks an awful lot like the Soviet Union was. You will all work for the same money. Now, how does that transition into public sector? To put it in perspective, folks, my level of education is just as high as a registered nurse. I have a 2-year diploma and an advanced degree, 3 years, plus my 4 periods of trade school and a B pressure on top of that. I surpass what it takes to become a registered nurse. They're getting $47 an hour. Now, comparatively, they have biohazards, they have all that. Well, so do I in all my trades. All of those and then some. I have to know chemistry. I have to be able to know engineering, and I have to know codes of manufacturing. If I don't do that, I'm fired or my products are rejected. You get an NCR and I get shipped down the road. They're saying, hey, all of the investment in clothes, your education, everything that you're going to give us is now worth $3.45 above minimum wage. So working at McDonald's, which you enter into it, sure, you go into minimum wage, you're going to get $15.45 an hour, but I got project management, I communicate well, I can do team leader. I am likely to see $23 an hour within 3 months with better benefits. No education, guys. No education required, really. There's nothing more than high school. You're not going to be in a dirty environment. You're going to be in the exact same fast pace, but you're not wearing the massive gear, PPE, protections, and the quality and environmental damage you take to your system. So you got to wear all this stuff, which puts about 50 pounds, just like a firefighter. Firefighters in Hamilton are not reduced. They don't even have the same level of education as most trades. That's a fact. You look at an electrician, which tops out at about $24 an hour. They've been reduced too. See, now, like the European Union, you can take Canada, you can lower all the wages and just have massive temporary foreign worker programs, massive employment in refugee programs. And all these people will come over, and don't worry about tickets. $19 an hour. We have enough people here with tickets to overlap you. So we throw out the tradesmen, and they're not going to want the job because it's less than what EI delivers. Canada, this is going to go right across Canada. It is going to go right across Canada. It is a crown colonial design. You will find that those refugee Ukrainians coming are all used to that European system, and they're going to be used to $19 an hour. They're used to living multi-family single unit dwelling. They're used to cloth sheets separating rooms, no privacy. They're used to that. They're all used to that. European Union runs this unitary system, large amounts of colonials, and that is what Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh and Doug Ford have brought to Ontario. Look at Section 5, you'll find the provincial division of powers and how Ford could actually stop all this. But he doesn't. Well, why doesn't he? Well, because he wants to get reelected. He's got to take care of his base, his public sector. Nurses, $47 an hour in Hamilton. Welders, now officially $19 an hour. Full ticketed, 20 years of experience. You've lost sizably. Went through HR, they said, look, this is how it is. We have a lineup of Ukrainians and all of these temporary foreign workers that have come over through immigration, and we're going to take them if you don't take the massive wage cuts that don't sustain you to live. You're going to have to chop up your single unit dwelling, rent out rooms in your house to complete strangers. Maybe if I took a job there, I could ask some of those new Canadians to come live with children in the house with needs. And, you know, who cares about coronavirus and the rest of it, right? Doug Ford, Justin Trudeau, and Jagmeet Singh have a clear plan. Pierre-Paul Levere has the same plan. They say, don't worry, we're going to use the public loaning machine to build even more high-rises. Folks, communist China, UK, Hong Kong in the 100 years developed these coffin cities. They're all over the place. Canada loves it. Harper loved it. He signed on with communism, even though more than 70% plus of Canadians said no way. Harper quietly did it anyway. Now Justin Trudeau, Jagmeet Singh, like, we've got power, we've got this majority that we're signing off. Jagmeet Singh's religion swears an oath, a religious divinity, to employers, that you should worship your employer. That's called Sikhism. Sorry, guys. It's a 500-year-old religion. I don't hate Sikhs, but if you look at the quality of working conditions and the quality of life of people in India, you're going to find worker rights, respect for the working class. That's a joke. You can die in the street and you'll be swept away at the street sweepers. How do you sustain a public sector at wages astronomically high when the primary sector has been cut in half? How do you sustain it? I'm interested, folks. This is my video. It's breaking news. I couldn't make this up if my life depended on it. And like I always say, it might just get there as you keep highlighting truths, as you live them, experience them. Yes, I just published National Steel Car. That's the truth. That's the truth. $19 an hour. 200 welding jobs, but the journeyman rate is $19 an hour. In a city that Justin Trudeau says, don't worry, everybody. We're not going to let foreign buyers in. Only temporary foreign workers and refugees who will take $19 an hour. That way, you the people who used to make decent wages, who now can't leave, because we're not going to let you leave. You're going to get used to working for $3 over minimum wage and in a highly, extremely critical environment, environmental hazards all around you, massive workplace things that could hurt you that you got to know about. You got to go through an education that you don't just walk into that off the street or off the boat. So they say $19 an hour, and don't worry, you're going to train all these foreign workers around you. You're going to teach them all your trade skills, and we're going to suppress the wages massively. I don't know how you're going to live. And if you try to escape, sell your place to the USA, you're going to find we just removed all the market buyers that were yielding. Doesn't end at all. The houses are still going to be astronomical. Is it going to be the 1.2 million, the average of 800,000? Probably not. It'll probably go down to 710 or so. It'll be a loss. We'll see a loss. But get out as fast as you can. Do it legally. Do the immigration program in the USA. I don't know what else to tell people. I really don't. Go to those states that care about the people. It's really easy to look at. Florida, super haven for retirement. Housing, literally 1/3 that of dumpy Hamilton. Twice the house, 1/3 the cost. Wages in my trade are substantially higher. It's now $36,000 a year is the wage in Hamilton. 40 hours a week, 12 months a year. Don't take any major holidays. You'll make about $36,000 a year as a journeyman welder, full ticketed, fully trained, with massive experience. That's what you can get. That's what Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh have done. NDP Liberal Coalition. It's a great idea. They massed all these projects that no locals will take because you're going to have to move yourself by commuting way outside the carbon tax, way outside the carbon tax range. Remember what they said? Oh, work and in your 15-kilometer radius. Well, that's not possible in Hamilton anymore. You have to go all the way to Toronto. Over 90 kilometers away, you've got to go, or even beyond that, like I was doing. Go way beyond that. Go all the way out to Bowmanville. Go across the entirety just to make a real wage. This is what's happening in Ontario. You, the people, are going the way of communism. You've been going that way since Stephen Harper. Pierre Poilievre, I'll always say it wrong, but who really cares? He's a piece of shit too. Nobody wants to read what he put in writing. A 400 and some page document, 300, but with all the links of everything. I went through all of it. That's what I do. I will read the entire book. The people go after a couple pages. I can't do anymore. It's getting lost in me. I'm lucky. I can go through each and every page, highlight all the things I don't wear out. Sometimes I can go 18 hours straight reading, writing. I've got a lucky talent, I guess. But what I read from Pierre Poilievre and what he's down with is just Justin Trudeau 2.0 at the end of the day. Change the name, call it something else. Say, hey, we're going to make more high-rise housing. Don't worry. We're going to make sure there's a studio apartment for every family. And maybe a cost of $550,000. One bathroom and tight quarters. You know, the kind of place that was found in the height of the Soviet Union in a place called Chernobyl. Chernobyl. Don't worry, there's a bus that picks you up and takes you to work. Some of you are going to have real crappy jobs, forced labor type jobs, like in Hamilton now. $19 an hour. We'll starve you out till you take it. Listen, the public sector is next, but first we got to get rid of all the primary sector. We have to destroy all of those in the primary yield because that'll destroy all the revenue, and Canada will have to even borrow more against the people of today and all those to come. The bill will be passed on to your children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. Trudeau will make sure there's nothing left. So will Jagmeet Singh. Because it's all about the wealthy oligarchs, their friends, who fill their back pocket. You will find the Ukrainians coming are from the red and yellow hammer and sickle, former Soviet Union. That's not what Putin is in his white, blue, red flag. I've told everybody this. Go back to 1921-22. You'll find the Russian Revolution going for independence. That was to be what Vladimir Putin brought forward in 91. And the Allies were with him then, and they were with him in 91. But, you're not going to play NWO. We're going to back the communists now. We're going to back the red flag with the yellow hammer and sickle. Look what China's doing. Well, they're okay with that. It's not crown, it's not colonial, but it's a real centralized government. As Trudeau stated, he admired it. He loved the power and the authority. Jagmeet Singh does too. Doug Ford does too. Pierre-Paul Levere does too, because he's a Privy Council member of one Stephen Harper. Canadians, if you ever want to see this model played out, it's called South Africa. Except for now you're those black South Africans. In fact, all of you, it doesn't matter what your race is, if you work for a living, you are that black South African. And it's getting worse and worse, and eventually you are going to be in much the same manner as apartheid. Why? Because it's called class structure, first, second, third, and then an ultimate savage. Somebody's got to be picked on. Somebody's got to generate the wealth. Right now, that's the first people. I don't see that changing for the first people. There's no settlements. They never want there to be. They want to destroy you. They want to destroy you and enslave you. If you don't believe me, go to the Parlement de Quebec. It's all there on the face of Parliament and all the statutiers and all the translations. You can go look at it, read it. And then you'll go out and you'll find you, the third class, working real hard as the church understate is commanding you. It's God's will upon you. And who's God? Well, you can follow that here and they show you. God is your divine politicians. Under them is their military and then the church. Because you have your Chief Justice through Governor General who controls your Supreme Court. There's the scales of justice there. And God gave your divine Prime Minister and all premiers the swords of justice handed off by angels. It's right there for you to go visualize. In fact, Ian Bachman, I see her there. I think it's high time I pump out some of that in the video. I still have the video where I scroll through with the phone for everybody, right down to below the ground savage Indian in Leith cloth clothes. And it's, oh, wow, that's weird, because that's not in any historical accounts of the first peoples. Where would you get that? And then, folks, it even gets worse, because you, like me, the $19 an hour journeyman now, determined, which is supposed to be functionable, you're out there in the yard of statues in Parlement de Quebec, where the church is over you, working for the man, telling you that it's God's will, because, look, they're God. The angels handed them the swords. God handed them the swords of justice. This is the system you must worship, love. You must put your divinity in them, because we're the church. Trust us. God appointed those people. He appointed them. They're of the Lord. Jesus was just a man. Muhammad, Islam, that's all just bullshit. Judaism, Moses, the Old Testament, that's all bullshit. Along with the Muslims and then the Christians, that's all bullshit. What's true is what we've put on these massive monoliths and statues. That's the Constitution of Canada. That's what Trudeau's erasing all around your federal parliament right now. He's been under construction for many years. They're putting all this stuff in storage, hiding it away, even though the legal system remains. But we can't have guys like Dave Bjorkman doing tours anymore. He's dangerous. Did you see that he found the manufactured re-stamp over the Supreme Court of Canada, where Canadians did have an independent judiciary only from 1945 to 1952. That's it. That building was built before 1952. That means before there was a Queen Elizabeth II. Now, the lie and the stamp on the building's foundational block, this is a 5 by 3 foot block at the base of the Supreme Court of Canada, officially finished post-World War II in the 40s, 1946, open, ready for business, went on to 1952. Apparently, King George's stamp was dedicated by Queen Elizabeth to her father. Her court, and she says, this is my court. Queen Elizabeth didn't ascend to 1952. How could you have dedicated that block in construction in the 40s as a child princess? You were not Queen Elizabeth II in the 40s. You weren't ascended till your father died in 52. Who manufactured the stamp? Well, the royal family and the government of Canada who stole the crown did. Liberals and Conservatives together. NDPs now come along with it. They've had lots of time to learn the provincial crown. You've elected NDP into government in premiership. They learned all about the crown colonial system because they had their own councils, orders and councils behind the public's back. They're ministries that behave exactly like the design of the Privy Council for the federal government. It's called Crown Customary Law. Unwritten law, unpublished laws made in secrecy behind the backs of all Canadians. They're allowed to lie to you. The first class is allowed. Like Pierre Poilievre can walk out. He can say, hey, everybody, we're going to do this, this, this. But then he writes something totally different. He doesn't have to be accountable for it. That's not a crime in Canada. Treason's not really a crime. No first-class citizen is guilty of any crime. We're watching Randy Hillier go through it right now, as others who broke their oath of Crown customary law from the government, then they'll get prosecuted, but that's only after they've been removed from one of the parties. One of the parties registered legal in Canada. Once you're independent, you're not with the first class anymore, especially if you're doing things for the people. You've breached customary crown law, and the Constitution's clear what happens to you. You're going to lose everything. They're going to demote you down through prosecution and civil application of law, where again the Crown gets to override all the highest courts in Canada, both on the federal level for Governor General and Lieutenant Governor for the provinces. There's no escape for you. There's no escape. There's no justice. It's not juristocracy. It's King's Court, because that's our legal system. If you haven't read for the umpteenth time the Constitution of Canada, 1867, 1982, yes, Justin Trudeau's, the embedment of the Charter, Section B there, the little document, and then the Bill of Rights, which overlaps Quebec. If you haven't read all those documents combined in the Consolidated Act of the Constitution of Canada, you best go do it. 2/3 of all the rules of governance and how to govern in Canada is all in the first 2/3, 1867, which gave the power for the Indian Act, which is the Nazi design, because Canada is Canada One, meaning the first one crafted by the colonials. First one of its kind that would lead to Nazi Germany, made before Nazi Germany. 1876 Indian Act, 1933 Enabling Act. Folks, when Nazi Germany rose, what do you think happened to the wages and inflation of Germans? What turned them into these evil animals? Well, making wages so small for all those in the primary sector, and then it led to the Nazis punishing all the academics and public sector workers because they had to make nurses $47 an hour, welders $19 an hour. That's normal, I guess. That's what Nazi Germany became before the Nazis. That's what Germany had become under colonialism. A couple of guys like Justin Trudeau, Jagmeet Singh, and Doug Ford got together and started hammering on Germans. They had reparations to make. Right now, we're doing it. We're repatriating the European Union and the NWO. Canada doesn't trade with Russia insignificantly. None of Russia's energy import-exports affect Canada in any way, shape, or form. They only affect you because your government's transferring your wealth out to those affected. Saying, well, we'll take one too. We'll make it harder for our Canadians. And you know what? We will operate as Germany did, and we'll go as long as we can get away with it until people snap, until people are out there in violence. And then some power from the alt-right or left, doesn't really matter. They eat and breathe the same thing, whether it's government, state, communism, or it's full-on fascism through oligarchs under the state. State's always there. It's just a trick. It's just an illusion. Wealth in the hands of the very few, and all of you down here sending everything up. Nazi Germany, those in the primary sector, so depressed, got to the point you had to have a wheelbarrow to get a loaf of bread, wheelbarrow of cash. Losing everything you got, just treated so inhumanely. The hammer, more like the hammer and sickle. That's the Hammer Hamilton today. April 8th, 2022. I'm sorry, folks. Now, Justin Trudeau, if he hasn't already done it, he's there blabbing. It's all about no foreign home buyers. Don't worry, prices will drop from an average of 800,000 to 700,000. That's really all it's going to be. Because he just keeps pumping out the immigration. He's going to always drive it up, and it's always for the benefit of manufacturing in Ontario. It says, hey, look, until Justin Trudeau can use you people, borrow so much money to buy Canadian dollars and drive the Canadian dollar down because of the amount of American dollars just pounding into Canada as the ruble keeps going up. 74 to the American dollar now. They're better off now than before the war, guys. Better off now than before the war. Oh, but hey, let's not talk about that, guys. Let's not talk about the absolute and utter failure of all the sanctions, like all the experts told you. They don't say a peep now. They just sit there, mum's the word, man. Well, in Canada, why? Because you will be persecuted. You'll be persecuted. Canada needs to be transformed. It needs to be Hamilton the Hammer, the communist hammer. A red flag, not with a maple leaf, but a yellow-orange hammer. That's what we're going to become. Justin Trudeau wants us there now. Agenda 2030 starts today, starts in Hamilton, Ontario. Just like it did before we watched the rise of the Nazis. And for Canadians, with that alt-left and alt-right lunatic, years from now, historians will say, were they right fanatics or alt-left fanatics? With all the massive media content and everything that's been recorded worldwide on this web, they're going to say, Jesus, man, it's fucking both of them. Maybe they'll get to look at some of the work I've done, or maybe other people will finally see the light bulb, whether I'm there or not, but you're going to all see it. You're all going to see it. Sick, sad. Share. Go look at the after release here in Hamilton. I bet you any money it's on housing. He ain't going to tell you about wages, but I'm telling you, I'm here. I'm living it. Just went through it. That's the truth, folks. Canada, destined for disaster. No stopping it. 2025, how many people are going to be destitute by 2025? At least in the Hamilton, communist hammer. I know.